o mi o mi o mi o mi o o mi o mi o mi o que o mi o que mi na o na mi o mi o na mi o que o mi o que mi que na que o mi que mi que na que o mi que na que mi que na que o mi que mi que na que o mi que na o que mi na o mi o mi o mi o mi o o mi o mi o mi o que o mi o que mi na o na mi o mi o na mi o que o mi o
I might need a night gem, man. Hello? I think we're live. How is everybody doing? So today we are doing something a little different from what we've done in the past. Well, actually, we're maybe not too different. We're still making art. But we're doing some glitch art this time. So I'll get into the details as we go forward. Really, it's just taking some pictures, running them through some processes. And really, it's just a way for me to try and find more cool ways to do stuff, because, you know, if you keep doing the same thing, it gets a little stale. So, yeah, actually, you know what? How about we maybe get started? I'm going to see if I can find a better song for this real quick. It looks like I'm coming out above the music, which is good, but I'm going to bump it down just a little bit more. Maybe not that far. Like, can I get like 4%? Perfect. Let's jump ahead a little bit, though. There's like, I wish I could put like I could put a compressor on this, but just to make everything a little bit more level. Fuck it, RuneScape. I'll take it. Okay, so where are we going? Well, I need to move a couple things because we're going to be sharing our front screen. Don't need to see Discord. Move that over here. And we are going to go to the desktop, because that's where everything begins. Oh my god, there's so much shit on here. It looks like I'm just barely peeking out over the music, so I'm going to drop that down just a little bit more. Alright, so we're going into here. Where are we? Well, you will see me in the bottom left over here. We are going to be, again, making some glitch art. And we're going to take some pictures from the liquid light stuff that we did. I think it was... We did the liquid light stuff 2 weeks ago, but we then took pictures of stuff, of the physical stuff, the week after. And then from there, between then and now, I edited some of the pictures. So let's actually go through some of those pictures, because there were some really neat ones. We're going to go into our file explorer. You know, I closed it. You know, I had all the tabs that I needed, and I closed it all like a dingus. All right, so we're going to make a couple tabs here. Make a couple of tabs. All right, so projects, this year, art stream, today. Okay, so let's go into the OGs. So let's look at the PNG versions, because they're a little higher quality. Let me maximize this a little bit. Go through these one at a time. So here's our first one. This a liquid light thing, but I put it in black and white because I feel like the colors were kind of a mess, and that just made everything flow a little better. This next one, I don't know why it's taking so long to load. They are pretty big images. Maybe, you know what, that's fine. This one was actually in color. I feel like there's a lot of nice, like the gradients make it feel like it's kind of 2D. But then there's like the 3D elements of like the oil and stuff over it, so I feel like it's neat. Going forward, this was actually just some liquid that was left over on the light panel, but I still think it looked pretty cool. So it's here. Going forward, we have this one. This was the egg one. There's like a little bit of, you know, so because I think the computer had or the camera had some trouble focusing, so there's like some out of focus spots, but there's some really nice, I don't know, but granted it's all liquid, so when I say liquidy texture it's kind of redundant, but like nice liquidiness up here and some nice graininess over here as well. Working our way forward, and for those that are maybe just hopping in, we're going through some pictures that we took of things last time. We might go over it again if more folks hop in, but again, we're just going through some pictures, and really what we're going to be doing tonight is we're going to be glitching these, because I think that's going to make them more interesting. This was another one that we took, so we have like the whole stream of oil over here. I think this was after we added the one of the liquids, the isopropyl alcohol, which then broke up all the oil and stuff. So you've got like some of these out of focus bits up here, getting gradually more focused in as we go down. A little out of focus down here, but like this bit in the center I think is really neat. So going forward, we had this next one. This I'm really happy with. So you've got kind of like the Looks kind of like a sun. You've got all the texture on the inside, gradually meandering out into less textured, going out here. You've got all the beautiful colors that are in here, so this one I'm really happy with. Going forward, from here we had I had the leftover liquid, and I didn't want to dump it, so I just ended up using a watercolor paper to collect the pieces underneath. So this was one. We still have some focus issues. I think some focus stacking would have really helped, but I just wanted to kind of get it done. And I think it adds some interest, you know, the focusy bits. I feel like they kind of push you closer to the parts that are more in focus. But again, it's all just really about the texture. So same thing here. You've got some not great focus on the outer ends. It's pushing you towards the center. This one, it's a little harder to tell, I think, just because it's, you know, you can still see the texture of the paper in the darker bits, but then when you get up to the lighter ones, I guess that's where the focus tends to fall off a bit. This and this one, these were accidental, so I took other ones that I hadn't had a chance to take a picture of, and I layered them on top of each other, and I really just liked just the contrast in focus of, hey, here's the top layer, here's the layer below that, then there's a one all the way on the bottom, and I just thought that was neat. Just checking my volume real quick. So we have a similar one over here. Same thing. Again, we've got two pieces of paper that are layered on top of each other. We've got the one that's also layered underneath, and then due to the way the camera is sort of focusing, or like the range of focus on it, we end up getting like a really nice, like, hey, here's the part that's in focus, and then just below that, we've got some nice like depth with this piece that's a bit lower, a bit more out of focus. Yeah, so that's what we're working with. We might run back through this again just to see, you know, what are we working with. If other folks happen to hop in, just so that we can give everybody enough context for things. But yeah, so those are the pictures that we're going to be playing with today. So if we take a step back, so I've got all these here. Now, I guess one question that folks might ask is, what are we actually doing with these particular images? So here we're actually going to then also just jump into, let me find, where are we? Still, nope. Projects. Here. This is turning into a file management stream. Dude, what are you doing down here? Actually, one sec, my dog got down here, so I will actually be right back. Buddy, let's go upstairs. All right, and we're back. The lab made its way downstairs. Our gate is falling apart, and I need to fix it, but you know, whatever. So what are we? Okay, so what we were going to look at was the actual images, or the ways that we were going to glitch it. So we're back looking at our folder here. Let me move a couple things around. What we're looking for here. Processing. Okay, so there are a few ways that we're going to process things today. Let's make these extra large. So first thing we're going to try is we're going to try some pixel sorting. So just as an example, I took one of the images that we saw, and I found a algorithm, not really an algorithm, but there's a program called processing that's a way that you can mess with images in code. There's a updated version called p5.js, which is a port of it for JavaScript. And I found a tutorial on pixel sorting using p5.js. So I took that tutorial, added a couple things to it, just to add some more randomization and expanding on some of the options. So this is basically what pixel sorting is. So you're either going row by row or column by column or both, and then going, all right, Let's sort these pixels by color. Let's sort them by lightness. Let's sort them by how blue they are, things like that. So this is the effect that we're going to get from pixel sorting. If we go back a little bit, go into the, let's do JPEG bending. There's a lot of neat things you can do with JPEG bending. So this is actually the same original source image. And really the whole thing with JPEG bending is you are messing with how the image viewer is processing or how it's understanding the data in that image. You can still mess with the data itself, but that's not, at least from my experience, not as impactful as messing with the way it's getting interpreted. Because the thing with JPEGs is it's compressed data. So the image viewer needs to sort of uncompress that data, but if you give it sort of the wrong instructions, it's going to read it in the wrong way. But you want to make sure that when you're doing that, you're doing it in such a way where it's still readable. So that's what we're going to be doing here. We've got some guides we're going to be working through. If we go, I wish I could hide. I'm going to see if I can hide those Steam notifications because that seems problematic. Seems a whittle problematic. Disable all notifications. Lovely. Okay. All right, we are learning how to stream. So another thing is we talked about JPEG bending, we talked about the pixel sorting. Another thing we can do is mess with the GIFs. So there's one really easy thing, well, comparatively easy thing we can do with GIFs, where we take the image, and one thing about GIFs is that all the color in it is stored in hexadecimal in a table at the top of the file. If you have an animated GIF, you might have multiple color tables, which makes it a little more difficult. That's something that you can adjust. But you can also just export with one color table. And then since it's in hex code, it's in, I think, RGB, sort of all just kind of one after another, after another, after another. You can mess with those colors. So if we go one over, this was me basically taking some of the colors, moving them around. Not really any rhyme or reason. It's just adjusting the colors that are in the image. So again, here's the original one. Here is us messing with the colors that are in the color table. So yeah, so that's the thing we're going to do with the GIFs. One last thing. There is a program that I recently got. So there is a person by the name of Catful of Ghost Electronic. And they have a really neat program called Rat King Pugilist. If you don't know who Catful of Ghost Electronic is, I'm actually going to put him in chat real quick. Hello, Emily. For those that don't know Catful of Ghost Electronic, also, how's the audio while you're here? OGE. So Catful of Ghosts is an amazing artist. I'm going to put this in chat real quick. Put this in my chat. There we go. They make really neat stuff. They make video synthesizers, really advancing video art in the 21st century, and making these tools accessible because they are also prohibitively expensive, whether you're going into video synthesizers or video mixers or things like that. So this is one thing they made, Rat King Pugilist, and this is an image that I got out of it. Actually, the original source, if I'm not mistaken, was this one. So as you can see, we get a lot of variation out of it. So this is something that we're also going to be doing as well. Voice is a little low. All right, let me bring my voice up a little bit. Thank you. Let me bring up my voice a little bit. I'll bring the music down a little bit more. Is this better? I can keep talking and I'll... Oh, no, sorry, clicking the wrong thing. I almost clicked the close stream button. We don't want to do that. Better? Okay, perfect. Thank you. So, just for a quick review, as folks are coming in, we are taking some of the images from our last stream. Well, last couple streams. So I took some of the images from last time, processed them a little bit. I think they're in a better spot. Then I also took the watercolor ones. So I had sort of the leftover like mixtures, took the watercolor paper, dropped that underneath, and then just made these. So I took some macro photos. So we're gonna bend them in a couple of different ways. So if we go back a step, let's start actually bending these without further ado. So probably I guess from least interesting to most interesting. Well, I guess it depends on what your definition of interesting is. So the way we're going to bend these, as far as the JPEG bending, I have a little script that I put together where it breaks the JPEG into its separate components. Then we're going to take it apart in different ways and mess with it. So that's how we're going to do that. With the GIFs, that's going to be a little more manual. So we're going to grab the color tables, mess with them in a hex editor, and then just see what happens. If we go back a step with the Rat King, I'm just going to drop an image in and see what happens. And then with P5, with the pixel sorting, that's also another script that we're going to use. So I guess probably the easiest one to start with is going to be the pixel sorting. So we're actually going to jump into that real quick. And now the way that P5 works is interesting. Because it's built in JavaScript, if you want to basically do a thing, you need to associate it with a web page. So let me see. Art, this, and then index, I think. Is that going to work? Is that what I called it? Oh, index.html. I know how computers work. At least I think I do. We're going to try this one more time. I apparently don't know what I'm doing. Let's go live. There we go. Okay, so it's starting. It is going to take a moment because the images are kind of big. Even though I did go with the lower quality JPEGs just to try and make it a little faster. But what we have here... Actually, let me close out of here. Go into our script real quick for all the script nerds. So we're loading the image. We're making the canvas. And then we're either sorting in an X, a Y direction, or we're sorting both ways. We're going to skip the code on how it's sorting. Again, I pulled this from a tutorial that we have some randomness in here. So I'm a big fan of, in programs used for creative stuff, making it have a level of chaos to it. So in this case, it's picking a random sort of parameter it's sorting on. It is setting a random threshold for what is it actually sorting, and then some other things as well. So if we zoom out a little bit, we can see a little bit of the sorting in here. So I'm gonna zoom. Sure. We can kind of see that in here where we've got like the direction, like the pixels are going in a certain direction. They've been sorted, right? But if we go up a little bit, I think the threshold it gave us, let's check that, because I have the threshold as one thing that's being sorted. So high threshold. So it's not doing a whole lot of sorting. So I'm actually gonna, let's do like 50. We're gonna give it a second. So we're gonna let it run again, see what it does. Drink real quick. Well, we're gonna let it do its thing. But we're gonna try and go through all these, see if we can get something that's nice and pixel sorted. While that's doing that, I want to also multitask. So, oh, wait. Let's zoom out. Okay, that looks a lot better. So again, as you can see, we've got some nice sorting to it. If we check how it actually sorted. Sorting on the Y direction, it doesn't look like it is, but that's fine. Sorting the greens. So the reds were unaffected. The blues were mostly unaffected, but they might have some green in them. And if we hit enter, it's going to save it for us. And it just did. And I'm going to grab that real quick. So don't mind me. Cool. Let's try the next one. So I'm going to go with the first one. Now the first one, if we recall, is in black and white. And let's do... I think we need to go with brightness on this because it's in black and white. But let's also... Let's try 90 on the threshold, see what that does. But for the ones that are in color, I'll be a little more cavalier about it. But again, while that's doing that, let's see if we can switch into... What am I looking for? Let's do Rat King. Rat King, please. Thank you. Let that load. Okay, so here is Rat King Pugilist. Not Pugilist. Pugilist. All right, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to drop in a picture. Not the one that we just modified. That we're going to save for maybe another time. But we have this image. Oh, that is a PNG. We're going to go with the smaller one because otherwise it's going to take forever. All right, so this should be better. It is a GIF. It is way smaller. Actually, let's check this versus the low-quality JPEG. Oh, no, the JPEG is much smaller. It's not that big. Okay, so what does this let us do? Well, we get a bunch of sliders. This one is a little bit more of a black box. And also, if you layer in a bunch of stuff, it gets mad at you. But what I'm going to do, my favorite thing to do right off the bat is mess with the sharpness. Or mess with the saturation, maybe adjust the hue. It looks like we got a little bit of sorting. I don't really see it. We might need to set... Let's set the threshold down a little bit. Set it to like 10%, like 20%. All right, we're gonna let that do its thing. But now we're starting to get like more of a dramatic change. Remember, this was the original image, so right now we're just messing with the color. Let's see what else we can do. So there's some other neat things we have in our palette here. Also, I'm going to turn the volume down on mine a little bit, a little loud. But again, the more that we do these, the more that it's going to start to slow down the program. So we're going to gradually work our way down. So let's see what some of these things do. So we have some palette index chaos. Not doing too much right now. Let's actually do some bit shifting. From my testing, this is a little more noticeable. So we're going to bit shift a little bit. It had a kind of pronounced effect. We're going to bit shift a little bit more, see what that does. Again, the more we do it, the more grainy it gets. Reminds me of circuit bent cameras and things like that. Let's see if we can get it back to center. So we can bit shift it just a little bit. It looks like this also came out swimmingly, so we're going to export this. I need to change the way these are getting named. All right, cool. So now we have this one just so that people can see it. We're going to pull it up real quick. So this is our pixel sorted blob here. We are going to go back to our code. We are going to change this to the third one. This time we're going to let it grab whatever. And I want this to go with sorting both ways. We're going to let it sort. Let's do like 50% so that if it's too high, then we might not get an effect. So we're going to do this. And we grab the next image. That's going to do its thing. Let's see what else we can do to mess with this. So working our way down, we have Indian. I'll say for 90% of these, I don't know what they do. So your guess is as good as mine. I do know the row and column. I'm not sure if I really like that. But again, working our way down. Going to maybe add some dithering. If I'm not mistaken, this is something that is in active development. One thing that has kind of bothered me with it is if you use your scroll wheel over the different sliders, it will use that to start changing the functions. And then if there's already a lot going on, it takes some time. Like some of these names like dithering, yeah, dithering's neat. It adds like a certain level of like noise. Well, I've seen it in a couple ways. In the music side, it's like adding a low level of noise to help convert to like lower bit rates. In the image end, it's like you are sort of reducing the number of pixels, I think. I don't know how it works, like, from a technical level, but that's my understanding of it. But it makes it more, like, pixely and, like, grid-like and things like that. But we're going to keep fucking this up. We're going to... Sorry for swearing. Just doing some things, seeing what they do. We have a lot of options. I don't want any scan lines. I want to corrupt the data a little bit, though. There is a random button, but I've tried that and it does a lot. Oh, and we got our thing back. I like this. How did it actually sort this? Let's see. So by brightness, sorted both ways. I can see that. I like this. That looks neat. All right, so we're going to move this back. Just so that we can get it on stream. And then once other people get here, we are going to share what we've done so far. But this, I think, is really neat. Just for a quick preview of what we started with. That one is this one. So that looks like this. But the pixel sorted version looks like this. And that's sorted on the brightness. So I think it was going initially by columns and then going by rows just to sort it different ways each time. So, yeah, I think that was neat. So we're going to get that cooking again because it takes forever to run. We're going to go to the next image. And we're going to let it just kind of do what it wants to do. Same with the orientation. Just let it do what it wants to do. All right. Going back into here. Do we want... Let's key it a little bit. Again, what I love about this is it's such a black box. I don't know what, like, 90% of these things do. I think there is... With the Luma King, that's a way you can kind of blend in the original image back in with the previous image, which I think is a really neat effect. Ooh, this was fast. That's neat. I'm going to run that again. I think it could be better, but let's see what settings we have. Sort, red, orientation, Y. Let's keep it on red. So with all this randomness, we do have a way that we can basically just default it to certain things. Let's do 90%. We're going to let that do its thing again. Let's bring up a little bit more of the original image. Maybe a little bit other direction. I think that means more. I don't hate it. So let's... Ooh, that's neat. I'm going to grab it. I'm also going to see if we can do a little bit more to it. So let's do like 10% threshold. See what that does. I'm trying to be careful with this, with the Rat King, because it's very easy to get it into like to overload it. And from here, I like it. Okay, I think that's as good as we're going to get. Actually, sorting grid, orientation X. Let's do both. Let's try Y. I don't think we did Y with the last time. Sorting on that. Let's keep it at 10 and see what happens. And that's doing its thing. We got this here. Let's pull up the Rat King. Okay, so I'm happy with this. I'm going to go ahead and save it. We're going to start up another one. I hate how it doesn't save. All right, so we're going to say this was Rat King 2. And let's make sure that's saved. Let me make another tab for that, because I want to make sure I'm keeping everything in the right spot. Because it's really easy to mix this stuff up. Okay, so that is our second one. So we're going to start over. We're going to load another image. We're going to go to the next one down. Art. Still. Nope. Projects. Art stream. Let's do GIFs. I think that was the second one. Let's do the first one. Okay. Okay, so now we're here. We're looking at the first one. Now there's some ways that we can mess with this. But let's look at this. I'm not sure how I feel about this. I like the bit over here. Let's go ahead and save that one as well. Okay. So let's start the next one. So we've got 11 images here. We're going to let it do whatever it wants as far as the direction it's sorting and how it's sorting. And same with the threshold as well, whatever it wants to do. But then we'll sort of grab whatever parameters we want. Let's do the... What was 4? Okay, we're going to do 5. Moving away from the egg. All right. Let that do its thing. All right, so this is black and white. We're going to add some more stuff to it. See if we can add some color to it through the regular method. All right, so otherwise, we're just going to start messing with it. Usually with the bit shifting, we're sort of displacing characters, shifting them down slightly. That's usually enough to start getting stuff, but then the more you go, the more noisy it gets. So we went from not really noisy to super noisy. So we're going to keep working. I want to find something that's a little more subtle. Or we go for super, like, out there that we just blend it in. All right, you know what? That is fine. From here, we're going to do some stuff. While we are doing that, I'm going to see if I can lock in parameters. All right, so that's like 95 threshold. That's not... The higher the threshold is, the less it's actually doing stuff. So I'm going to need to adjust that, but we're going to set this to like 50. What is this? Oh, human resource machine. Okay. But that's doing its thing. If I solarize it more, is that going to do anything? I'm not going to bother dithering it because it's already super noisy. Maybe add some noise. Again, this is sort of, we're shooting in the dark here to see what it's doing. Let's maybe make it a little pixely. Again, for those that might be just joining, we're doing some glitch art. If folks are interested, we can go back through some of the source material. I don't want it too pixelated. I'm using a tool called Rat King Pugilist by Catful of Ghost Electronics. A little bit of pixel sorting. We're going to let it think. We're kind of bouncing back and forth between different things because it's really easy for both of them to get overloaded with what they're trying to do. But this one looks neat. I'm going to save this. Let's do the next one. And really, we're just bouncing back and forth because I want to give stuff enough time to cook. All right. So we're going to the next one down. We're going to save it. Let it do its thing. Let's keep messing with this a little bit more. I want to see if we can introduce a little bit of color. But I don't know if we're going to be able to. A little bit of scan lines. Okay, we got a little bit of color in here. We'll let it load real quick. Finish processing. If we zoom in, we're getting like a little bit of noise in here. A little bit of color, which is great. We're going to keep working our way down, though. Let's see if we can bring in the original. Just fade this in a bit. What I can't tell is... Okay, so if we go... So the left side is more of the original. And this... Ooh, this looks neat. It didn't do a whole lot. Well, okay, it did a good amount. It's subtle, but I like that. So we're gonna... I am curious how much this is, though. All right, so 50 on hue and sorting on Y. Okay. So let's keep that, and we're gonna adjust. But yeah, and this is partly what I mean by I want to add some chaos to it. But if I know what it did, then that saves me a little bit of exploring because it's going through those options for me initially, and then I'm just determining what I want to do from there. We're gonna super sort it. Where am I? We're here. Okay, so we're gonna Luma key. a little bit more. I think we're close enough to it being done. And for those that aren't watching, Bug and Moss have almost beaten Portal. Bug and Moss. So if you aren't watching them, oh, the shit, they just beat it. They just beat it. Sorry, I'm watching the stream. Oh, this is amazing. That's awesome. But yeah, if you are not following them, for folks that are watching, you should, because they do a lot of amazing things, both Bug and Moss. They have a radio show, well, morning talk show, where it is just hilarious. Brooke also does a lot of really neat stuff. She writes... Actually, let me see if I can find... Over here... What is that? SpectraVision Radio. I'm going to put a link to that in chat. A lot of really neat stuff for there. Mason also does an amazing amount of stuff, so I'm going to put PodCube in chat. It is a podcast of the future, and Mason set up an amazing website. So if you have not checked out those things, you should check out those things. So I'm feeling like I'm kind of done with this. I don't know what else I can do to make it more interesting. We're gonna close this. I'm a little disappointed with this because it's not sorting as much as I was planning. So we're gonna try to 90. Let's do more like 10%. See what that does. Let that do its thing. But we're gonna let that do its. We're gonna do this. I'm gonna go ahead and save. It always picks not the right folder. Pick the right folder. All right, so Rat King 3. Love this game. We're gonna give that a moment. It's thinking, it's saving. Ooh. Hell yeah. Look at this shit. That is amazing. I love it. The way it broke up all the pixels and shit. This would be something where I would probably just grab a part of it, maybe like the big circle here and some of the pieces around it, and then clean up the things around it just to remove a lot of the noise. But oof. Oofa doofa. All right, working our way through. All right, so that was, which one was that? That was, you know what I'm curious about. Let's pixel sort everything. Fuck it. I like that one. All right, so we're gonna load a new image. Back here. Which one is this? I think let's do we've done the first and the second one. Let's do the third one. All right, so let's. Oh, it's applying the same preset. Reset, please. Thank you. Let's start from the bottom and work our way up, because I haven't really messed with these before. I don't know what ringing is. Filter ringing. I just don't know what these are. It's crazy. That's doing its thing. I'm going to put... We're going to wait. Oh, it's doing it is chugging. Chugging, chugging, chugging. We got that. We kind of have... Oh. Okay. Oh, shit. Okay. Everything happened at the same time. I am not going to complain about that. Okay, so this looks cool. I like this. So we got that. We're going to get the next one queued up. I'm going to let this just do whatever. We're going to see what ends up working. Set the threshold at like 50-ish, kind of like in the middle. We might want more, we might want less. And then the next one down is 7. We're going to let that do its thing. I like the ringing around it. I see what that's doing. Let's turn up the ringing and see how that actually messes with the image. But I need a third thing to do while we're doing all this stuff. What are we doing? Do we want to start messing with the... Well, what I don't want to do is have like 30 things that I'm juggling and then end up mixing the code and stuff. But do we want to maybe try to do some JPEG bending while we're here? Let's do it. So we have some images. So I know this is a little difficult to look at, but I've got all the same images over here. Some of these aren't the images we're working with today, but that's fine. But we got all these images here. So we're going to pull up our index real quick. Is this one? Nope. Shell file. There we go. All right. Working with the first one. Now this one is a little more just what I'm looking for. There are more steps to it rather than just having some sliders that we're doing things to or just running the code and then it's doing a thing. In this case, because JPEGs are more structured, I'm basically just taking the JPEG, breaking it into its chunks, then working with those chunks individually. So let's actually see what that looks like. So I'm going to find... Also, what is this? Also human resource machine. We're going to jump ahead a little bit. Machine Girl? Let's see which song this is. It's OST2. Sure, that's fine. Okay. So what we're going to do, we have a couple of commands that we can run. Nope, I want the README because I need documentation for my own tools. Okay, so we have a few things we can do. We need to analyze it first. And then we are going to basically just mess with the breakout of that data. And then we're going to recompile it into an image and see what that does. But this probably did a thing in the meantime, so that looks neat. You see, I tried to scroll and I ended up messing with the dial. Ended up messing with the lever. I'm not really a big fan of that because then it, like, I accidentally scrolled a bit and now it's going to take forever to finish processing. But I don't know if that's just like an OS thing in particular or like something that's built into the thing. Anyway, so what we need to do, we need to find the... Where are we? Oh, shit! Bug and Moss! Hello! How are y'all doing? Congratulations on beating the entirety of Portal. Coyote, hello! So for folks that are just hopping in, we're going to do a quick run through of what we've been doing. You did it! I am so proud of you all. That's amazing. What's the next game that y'all are going to do? In the meantime, we're going to take a step back because we've kind of been jumping through a couple things and I want to catch y'all up. So we are making art again tonight. We're not doing like the live liquid light stuff that we did before, but we're taking pictures from that and doing stuff to it. So let's actually go through what we ended up with. So what we're going through are the images that I took. Some of these I posted in the Bug and Moss Discord. If you're not in there, you should. Also, we're going to shout out Bug and Moss again. Shout out... No, it's that. Out Bug and Moss. Oh, I need to wait an hour before... I need to wait a whole hour before I shout y'all out again. Anyway, so... But let me put a link to the stuff. I mean, y'all came from there, but just because this, we got this. But yeah, so we're going through some of these pictures. So I took pictures of the liquid light stuff. I sort of tweaked them, processed them a little bit, made them a little better. Some of these I think are really cool. Other ones, you know, I'm fine with. I don't want to see how much I can bend them. Then at the end of that, I took the sort of liquid light mixtures, took some watercolor paper, and then tried to make some additional art through that. So this was macro shots of the watercolor paper. These couple in particular, we're just kind of collaging and layering. Your cooking, so you're gonna lurk. All good. All good. Enjoy your... Are you doing the mac and cheese? But from here, so we have these images, and now what are we gonna do? Well, we're gonna break them in a couple different ways. So if we go back a step, there are 4 ways that we've messed with these mac and cheese. Hell yeah. So first thing we've been doing is we've been pixel sorting. So basically what you're doing with pixel sorting is you are taking one aspect of the image, and then you are either row by row or column by column sorting it from highest to lowest. So I forget what way it is for this, but I'm using P5JS. So if you've used processing before, it's basically a way to process images and video with code. And there's a port for it called P5JS, and there's a tutorial that I found by Pat Vera, P-A-T-T, I think V-I-E-R-A. And I added some extra levers to it because why not? But we've done it a couple times already. So we have this one, this one, this one, which I think is neat. And then we have... It's mostly the same. Is that the same as this one? Okay, it's just a little more broken. And then I made some other ones. I think from here. These ones. Because we just finished these ones. We're gonna give that a moment. We've had another one cooking as well. I think it's been cooking. Why are you not cooking? Threshold has already been declared. Oh. Let's go back. Let's try it again. Okay. Sort orientation is not defined. Sometimes I know what I'm doing. Sorry, in the code that I write, I try and bake in a little bit of like chaos to it. So it can do its own thing. But sometimes I forget to turn those variables on. Let's skip these. Okay, so we have some ones that we were doing earlier. So we saw this image, like the original form. This is it, extremely pixel sorted. This one is the same one, just less pixel sorted. This one is lightly pixel sorted. So we've got like a nice gradient of like, yeah, it's like a little borked. You can kind of see some sorting like at the ends of it. And then, oh, it's a little more obvious. And oh my God, it's extremely sorted. This one, we saw this also. A lot of sorting. I don't know. I just like the texture of it. This was the egg one. This one we already saw. So again, doing some sorting. Let's go back a step. We also have a piece of software called, oh, thank you, Rat King Pugilist. So if you aren't turned on to Cat Full of Ghost Electronics, I'm going to put a link to their stuff again. Cat Full of Ghosts. They are a video artist that is making video art more accessible. So they have a piece of software called Rat King Pugilist that is basically a bunch of different neat ways you can break an image, and I think it's like less than $10, so it's not that bad. But they also have some hardware that they've put together, video equations, which is like, I don't know if you've seen like the Matrix, like the text kind of scrolling. It's basically that, but you have a bunch of different characters and a bunch of different like colors, and it's a hardware video synth, which is neat. They've done some other stuff too, like with like analog hardware and video mixers. But so it's a bunch of different ways that you can break an image, and we're just making some shit to see what happens. We're gonna let that. It also takes a while, and that's sort of the what's the word I'm looking for? The occupational hazard of some of this stuff, because with the Rat King, it's like doing a bunch of processing at the same time, and it ends up slowing down. With the pixel sorting, it's doing like a million things all at the same time. Let's see if we can pull up that right here. Oh, that looks neat. Hell yeah. What I really like about the pixel sorting stuff is, depending on your parameters, you end up with like getting some neat like 3D effects out, or like a bit of depth out of it, just because it's sorting from like lightest to darkest and things like that. Go ahead and save this. I also actually, let me put a link to the GitHub. It's not, again, I didn't devise this, and pixel sorting, it, has been done before, but we're going to throw this in chat in case anybody is interested in taking it apart. And let me see if I can find Pat Vera. Pat Vera P5JS. It's maybe a little dangerous to open up Google, but anyway, that's also a link to Pat Vera's stuff. So I followed her tutorial on that. But that looks neat. We're going to throw another one into the blender and see what happens. But I've got all these images here. I think we're up to number 7, so we're going to go to 8. And the way I have it set up is it's pretty much just grabbing a random parameter to sort on, and then also sorting in a random direction. So again, for folks that might not, maybe haven't messed with pixel sorting, you're going either row by row or column by column, and based on a certain parameter, whether it's brightness or hue or anything else, you're sorting those images, or sorting those pixels. You can also set a threshold of, hey, at a certain point, don't mess with these particular pixels. So that's how we end up getting the sort of textured effect of, hey, there are these spots that haven't really been messed with, some spots that have been messed with. Actually, for this one, let's see what it looks like if we do 0. So we have no threshold. We're going to go back to 7, just so we can see what that looks like. It looks a little flatter just because there's no, like, break in the brightness. But let's put that back here. I forget who, there was someone on YouTube who was really good at writing shaders who wrote like a pixel sorting shader, and they like plugged that and some other stuff into like Final Fantasy 14. So if you hue sort a whole image with no threshold, you just end up with what looks like a color picker. Maybe. We're going to try that. So it's a little slow just because I think it's like a 5,000 by 3,000 image. But that's what I'm anticipating. So we're going to see what that looks like. In the meantime, while that's cooking, we're going to max out our hue, max out our saturation. With some of these things in Rat King, you want to do them earlier because I think all the processing is happening live. So then anytime you change one thing, you need to redo everything. It's thinking. Oh, let's see. All right, so I think it picked a random direction or a different direction this time, but it looks like it didn't actually make a color picker, even though we set a threshold of 0. But anyway, I think it looks neat. We're going to say that one as well. So from here, let's go to the next one down. Let's do full well, I've been trying like a randomness or like threshold of like halfway through, but let's just do a random threshold, random sort parameter. We're going to do the next one over. Well, let's see what happens. We're going to let that bake. Let's bring the hue back down on this. We're going to let that cook forever. And let's also maybe do some JPEG bending while we're at it. Oh, Coyote. Thank you, Coyote. Thank you for lurking. Hope you have a good evening. All right, so the JPEG stuff. This one is a little less straightforward. So I wrote a script to break down a certain format of JPEG into different chunks. And using some prior knowledge of how to bend JPEGs, you could then sort of recompile those back into a particular thing. Oh, let's see what this looks like, though. All right, I don't hate it. Let's see, where are we at? Okay, so it's a little more subtle because we have a higher threshold on it, but it's sorting on green, going up and down. I like it. Let's zoom out. Oh, that's as far as we can zoom out. Okay. Let's actually grab, I know we've been saving a lot. This one. This one. Let's grab these. We're going to move those over into... Sorry for the silence. Gonna give that a second. Saving. Okay, so more of the pixel sorted shenanigans that we have here. Whole lot of stuff. Whole lot of nonsense going on. Alright, so a little hard to tell what this is doing. We're gonna up the saturation. That's sort of my go-to. Like, I want to fuck with this thing. See what that does. Alright, so going back a bit. We need to get this cooking again. Let's do number 9. Let's do a low threshold. Let's do like 20. Just let it do its thing. All right, so again, letting that cook. Where are we? I don't like it with all that saturation. All right, so jumping back into here. Okay, so doing the JPEG stuff. So with the script that I have, basically it takes an image, breaks it into a bunch of component chunks. Then from there, we can go in and tweak the individual bits and bytes, and then kind of recompile that back into an image. It makes data bending a little more, a little less of a pain, because otherwise, if we get a chance to go into the GIF bending, you're going through all these bytes without any markers for what's what, unless you know what you're looking for. So we're going to actually grab, and actually just for an example, let me show you what it looks like. So if we go back into our stuff over here, let's go back one, go into JPEG bending. Really, it just looks like a mess of stuff, and I think that looks great. And I'm actually going to have a cheat sheet of how to do this stuff, because I have taught a course on this before. All right, this looks interesting. I'm going to reduce the threshold on it, or increase it, so we have less pixel sorting. It's a cool mess. Hell yeah. We're gonna... I should have saved that. But, oh well, we're gonna keep doing this. We're gonna jump back into Rat King real quick, do a little bit of bit shifting. We're gonna also let that cook. I feel like this is like a cooking show where it's like... Is there like a cooking show where they've got like 20 different things they're doing at the same time? Where are we? Alright, so we're working on this image. With the JPEG one, it's a little more command line-y, because I don't have a good way yet to... That's like every cooking show. Okay, I'll take it. No, don't open in PowerShell. Don't do that. We don't use PowerShell in this house. All right. Art, glitch tools. All right, so SH, main SH. What is this? JPEG, analyze. Alright, so what this did is it took that image, and now we have 2 folders. So we have one folder of all of the individual bits and bytes and chunks. And if we go into the bending folder, it's all the same thing. But the reason why we have the other folder is that one thing with circuit bending, or with data bending, is at some point you're going to break it. But I like to have something I can refer back to in case, like, oh, I fucked up this particular table. Let me just grab the original copy, and then I can drop that back in. That's still thinking. Let's see where we're at here. Ooh, that messed it up. So we shifted some bits. With the Pugilist, Rat King Pugilist, it's very much a black box. So I'm going to say we're good with where we're at here. I'm going to save this. I'm going to go into processing, Rat King. This is Rat King 4. And we're going to reset all of this. Actually, that's going to do its thing real quick. What are you doing? Stop loading everything. Or I wonder if it's because if I'm saving over in the code editor, it's then reloading everything over here. That's annoying. But that's fine. Okay, so we have analyzed it. Now we're going to go through and tweak a couple bits and bobs. So, actually, I'm going to pull up another tab. Let me see. Do I have that window still up? Is it this one? This one. So, these are some things, some PDFs from a course that I occasionally teach called Optical Hijinks for Glitch Happy Gremlins. Let me actually... Optical Hijinks. Let me drop this in chat as well. And these are the resources that I put together on bending JPEGs and also bending GIFs. We might not get to GIFs tonight, but I figure whatever we don't get to, we can knock out next week as well. But basically, it's just, hey, what are some ways that we can mess with GIFs? And actually, for those that are interested, I'm going to put a couple links to these in chat as well. There's a amazing person by the name of Korkami who does like file format breakdowns. So that's one that they put together of JPEGs. This person also has a lot of good info on how you can break JPEGs as well. Some of those things I included, but not everything. And then with GIFs, we're not going to get to GIFs, but Matthew Flickinger has a really good breakdown of what you can do with them. Drop that in chat. That's more like, hey, you drop in a GIF and then it breaks down the folder structure or the file structure of it. And then there's a glitch artist by the name of Stalio who has a series on some ways you can mess with GIFs. And then going back to JPEGs, Nick Briz has an amazing Huffman hacking thing. The music seems kind of loud. Let me make sure I'm not too loud. Okay, it's a little loud. I'm going to turn it down on mine a little bit. And in chat, that's also the music for Hades, so go figure. Yeah, a lot of really cool stuff. Let's see. Are we finished cooking? We didn't really... I mean, we cooked a little bit. We could cook a little bit more, but let's see how much we actually cooked. All right, so 50. Let's do like 20. Let that do its thing. Let's check Rat King real quick. Okay, so that's saved. We're going to reset this. We're going to bring in another image. And we're going with the lower quality images because that's just less to have to load up. Which one do we want to go with? We did this one. I don't know how much I'm liking... Well, let's try the egg. I think that's this one. Yep, there we go. Okay. So just like, unlike before, we're actually going to go from top to bottom because we can get some of the lighter processing out of the way. Because the further down we go, the more it tends to not be super happy with it. Maybe we're going to... It's already super saturated already. We can mess with the hue a little bit. And again, this is so much of a black box to me. We're going to up the sharpness and see what that does. There's already a little bit of graininess in it. Let's see if we can accent that a little bit. Shift some bits, see what that does. Okay, I like that one. We're going to invert it. I like it in blue. Okay, cool. Ooh, I want to go back to the last one. Chroma 422. Again, I have no idea what most of these things are doing, which is fine. It's in the spirit of it. We'll stick with that. Okay, so looking at this just looks like straight up foliage. We're going to save it. Go to the next one. So that was number 9. We're going to go to 10. I think we have how many left? We have 2 more after this. We're going to let it do its thing. Let it cook. Okay. Once we're done with that, we're going to go over a little bit just because I want to do a little bit more of the JPEG stuff. But what are we doing? What are we doing? I don't know what we're doing. All right, that's doing its thing. Going back into here. Okay, so we have a thing in Rat King that I'm happy with. I'm going to wait to do the JPEG bending until we get through the rest of the pixel sorting because I think that's messing with the actual... like, it reloads this so we don't get a chance to save it. I like this. It's keeping the layering of stuff, and it's... I think that looks neat. Well, I'm going to go for one that's maybe less sorted, but I want to grab what these settings are. So, red and orientation Y. So, let's update that real quick. and sort on red. I want to make this like 50%. Let that do its thing. We're going to skip that. Can we get... I always look for the Tekken music. Yeah, we're just going to jump right to the Tekken music. Where are we? Specifically Tekken 4. Domino P, QRST. There we go. And Quiche. Or Kitsch. There we go. We're going to... Can we shuffle around this one? Come on, Music B. Fuck it, play now. Hell yeah. Okay. So, we're gonna make some adjustments. We're gonna try some lighter adjustments. Ooh, that looks nice. Some lighter adjustments back a little bit. You know what? That's fine. We're gonna scroll down. Again, one thing that kind of bugs me a little bit is that the scroll wheel can adjust the levers. So if you have some very heavy stuff already going, it then ends up slowing it down quite a bit. I have no idea what the filter ringing is, but I love it. All right, so... Well, I don't... All right, well, it might look a little different than this. We're going to give it a second. Give it a moment. Is it done? Oh, it's done. Okay, cool. We're going to save this. We're going to reset it, and then we're just going to do a partial randomize because I want to show you all what that ends up looking like. Rat King. Do you have all these links in a blog post or page somewhere? They're all super interesting. I can grab them. Maybe I'll post them on Blue Sky. I'll post them in the Bug and Moss Discord. Let's do this. All right, so we got this one. We're going to reset it. And we're going to just do a full randomize. Total randomize. Total randomization applied. This is going to take forever to load. Oh, that looks neat. I'm not going to save it, but it looks neat. Let's go ahead and reset that. There's reset. All right, so that was egg. Exports. I think we're up to 5 for this. Okay, so we're up to this one. We also have some presets built in. Let's try blue noise. We're going to let that spin forever. We're still spinning over here as well. Ooh, we're really dragging. Okay, that's fine. Oh, okay. No, it did a thing. Blue noise. Let's try rainbow. Let's try rainbow spew. See what that looks like. Everything is spinning. Okay, so let's talk about what we're going to do with the JPEG stuff while we... Oh, wait. You know what? I like that. All right, we're saving that. And go back one. All right, cool. We're going to load in the next one. Everything. Work. Okay, so that's thinking... Where are we? We are right here. Okay. So JPEG stuff. So probably the most effective way to break an image is to mess with the Huffman tables. So that's basically one thing about JPEGs is they are super compressed. So if you're bending it, you're basically you can mess with the image data itself, but that tends to be less effective. What you really want to mess with is the thing that's basically telling the image viewer this is how the data is structured, because then you're messing with how it's actually reading that data. So we have this whole thing on... Wait, where are we? Huffman tables. Right around here. Yep. So messing with Huffman tables. This is basically where it's got a breakdown of how is the image compressed. And really, there are some things you don't want to mess with, but the things you do want to mess with, you can get some really wild effects out of it. So so this saved. Let's see how our sorting went, if that finished. Okay, not done yet. Did it break? Sort orientation has already been declared. Okay, so I goofed up. Yep, all right. Try this again. So we're going to load another one. I think this one. Okay, there we go. Let's do... what happens if we max out the sharpness? Okay, super grainy. I like it. Just some bit shifting. There's like a certain level of I like what it's doing, it's just too noisy. But we're cutting down on the noise. Okay, I like that. Do the Indianness. Okay, that cleaned it up quite a bit. Nice. I almost don't want to add much else to it. Just doing a thing. Just thinking. Let's ring the filter a little bit, whatever that does. I think that ends up blurring it a little bit. Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. And fuck it. Let's save it. It's really easy to mess things up beyond repair. Oh, hell yeah. Something galactic. King Severn. All right, cool. So we got a thing here. Let's see how the pixel sorting is doing. Oh, I think it's done. Okay, it's done. Oh, no, that was the same thing. Oh, wait. Nope, I think we wanted to do that. All right, so we're going to... It's a little more subtle. I like it. We're going to save it. Also, which song is this? Bit Crusher. Let me turn this up a little bit. Okay, so we're going to do the last one. And we're going to just let it do whatever. And what are we looking for? Image. All right, let that do its thing. Did I break it in some way? No, it's okay, it's thinking. Did not break it. What are we looking for? All right, so we saved that. We're going to reset this, grab the next one. I forget which image that was. I think we're up to this one. I think so. Okay. So let's mess with the saturation. Maybe shift the colors around a little bit. Maybe this way. Okay, I like that. I like that. Let's max the sharpness. Okay, it's already pretty grainy, so I don't know if that's really going to work. See what the bit shifting does. Let's try it both directions. It's very noisy. I like the right bit shifting. I don't know what it's doing. All right, we need to click through quite a bit. Oh, no, I want bit shift right. One. Let me get this real quick. All right, so we got that as our starting, as our base. So look at this one. Hell yeah. What I do want to see... All right, so threshold 33, sorting green, orientation both. It is Pride Month. So the whole sorting orientation, that's... If it's both, it's sorting X and then also sorting Y. Just being a goof. Sorting on the green. Okay. But what I'd like to do, sort param is green. That was 33. Let's bump that to like 10. Let that think for a bit. Okay, so we're still a little noisy. I'm going to bump down our sharpness. Okay. I like where that's going. Indianness, what are we doing here? Still super noisy. Okay, I don't mind it. Let's up the sharpness, maybe bump the saturation down a little bit. Sort of long term, one thing what I've been trying to figure out is, cool, so we're doing stuff with the images. What are we actually going to do with it from there? There's a couple things that I worked out in Blender. I forget. I think on YouTube their handle is Toxic Tuba. They have a tutorial on setting up like a kaleidoscope maker of you throwing an image, and then it does like repeats it into like chunks, and then you can kind of scroll in and out of it, and then it make really neat textures. Actually, that's how I made. If I minimize everything, like this back here, I think this was just like a collage thing that I did. But then it did stuff like that to it, and then you can animate it because it's in Blender. So maybe doing stuff like that. I'm all about using all parts of the Artimal. Where are we? All right, so that's doing its thing. And then that should be the last pixel sorting thing we're doing. So we're going to let that do it. Oh, wait. Okay, cool. All right, this looks more fucked up. I like it. But then also, you know, how else can I take this? And also, how far should it be taken? Not like there's really an end to it, but... you know, minimizing sputtering. All parts of the Artimal. Thank you. Well, I also, at least personally, I wonder if it comes from like a scarcity mindset of I end up in this kind of loop of I don't want to. I tend to shy away from like physical art because it's like, well, I don't want to like potentially waste. If it's not good, then I'm wasting the material. But then if I have this thing, then what do I do with it? Because I don't want to get rid of it because then I'm losing the... So I don't know. It's a whole thing. So this is... art, however it be. All right. What are we looking for? There is no undo. Absolutely. Limited resources. Absolutely. Which is why the digital stuff is neat, because then you can kind of run it through different processes and break it in different ways. Going into here, processing, pixel sorting. Let's do a quick review of all the pixel sorting things that we did. Maybe we'll finish out the Rat King stuff, and then next week we can do the JPEG stuff. All right, so we got through everything. Let's do a quick review. Actually, you know what? I keep verbally backtracking. What am I doing? Let's knock the saturation down a little bit. Okay, I can live with that. No, it is save image into Rat King. Processing, Rat King. 8. Got 3 left. And let's fuck it up a little bit. Let's grab the next one. We're just gonna totally ruin it. Back. OG. Low quality. 2, 11, 10, 9, 8. I think this one. Nope, that is the same exact one. Yeah, sure. Let's go with the crap preset. See what that does. While that's doing its thing. Alright, so going through the pixel sorting, we have some renditions of the same thing. Some things are of the same source. Can we get a little icon? Okay, so this was first one. Next one. I had some trouble figuring out how to sort on the black and white one, but, you know, we got there. Working our way through. This one, I don't know why I don't like it as much. I think it's just because there's not as much variation of the color. Working our way through. This one, it's a little more subtle. Not as subtle. Way less subtle. I don't like this one as much compared to like maybe this one and this one, but working our way down. Working our way through. Hell yeah. Oh, catch you later. Have a good one. So that is the pixel sorting that we've been doing. And we got a little bit of time left. Let's finish out the Rat King stuff. We have just like a couple left. Let's see what kind of art we can make. And yeah, next time we will continue. We'll see if we can do the, what am I talking about? You know what? That looks fine. A little sad. It's a little mad at me, but that's okay. While we wait for that, we're gonna bring this over here. Let's maybe get, I just closed VS Code. Let's try that one more time. Where are we? We are right here. If I cannot hit the button that says close, let's do this. Close that. Let's do the 9th one, I think. Okay, so this one. All right, it's already throwing in some stuff on it. Sharpness. Gonna mess with the palette. This is where we start to get into the all of a sudden we do a thing and then it takes forever to load. And that's fine. Let's getting a little too low key. Let's up the brightness a bit. See if the bit shifting helps at all. In a way that doesn't make it super noisy. And the Endian thing helped a bit last time. Again, I don't know what any of this stuff does. I like that. Okay, we're going to save that. What is this? Number... I think it's technically like number 10. So we're going to go with the last one. We're going to reset. Load image. Last one. Actually, no, we have one before this. We had the other collage one. All right, we're going to knock this out. Let's start with the bit shifting. It's kind of like when you're making music and you put the processing on the main, like the output channel. So you're sort of finishing the track as you're mixing it. Let's up the saturation a little bit. Sometimes the NDN parameter like cleans it up quite a bit. Yay, welcome back, Coyote. I fully understand the last minute, hey, yeah, somebody has a question about something and you need to drop what you're doing. Well, we have been continuing to make some glitch art. I'll go back through the pixel sorting stuff. Just so we can do a quick recap on where we landed with things. It's looking hella noisy. I want to see if I can cut down on that a bit. All right, well, that's thinking. Do we still have this one's still up? All right, we're going to close out of that real quick. Going to not go live. Well, still live here. Okay, I don't hate it. It smeared things a little bit, which I think is neat. Well, it smeared it in a way that I like. We're gonna cut down on the contrast, maybe. Fighting with Zoom for 30 minutes. Nobody turned it on. Or you had bad info. The big dog on my lap. Oh, that's amazing. That's always fun where it's like, I don't know. You're trying to do your job, and then the powers that be keep you from actually doing your job. But I'm glad you have a doggo. Mine snuck down because our gate decided to stop working, and he was here for a little bit. I'll have to get a dog cam, but have it just as fucked up as this one. No. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna stop futzing with this. And but yeah, so just for a quick recap of what we're gonna do next time. So I wrote a script to basically take a JPEG, break it into its constituent chunks, and then open it up so that you can tweak the individual sections of it. Sorry, I'm clicking on everything and nothing at the same time. So like, hey, this section, this section, this section, this section, this section, and there are some specific ways that you can bend them. So that's something that we're gonna dig into, but we're gonna do that next time. That's a little more low level, so we might have a side game while that's going, or we might even have a dog cam. I don't know yet. Or we might have, I don't know, the Switch going with a bunch of bots playing Mario Party. But let's reset this. That's where we started. Got one more. It's this one. Okay. So let's see. There is a bit of graininess here that I want to accentuate. But I imagine we might also want to smooth things out a little bit. Okay, so that added some grain. I like it. Again, this is all just a black box. I don't know what, like, most of these things do. Maybe not that much saturation. Maybe a little bit less. With the anticipation of we're going to keep breaking it. It's already pretty grainy. Let's do a little bit of sharpness. I wish there was a threshold on this, so then we can set different ranges of how grainy things get. See what the bit shifting does. Blendness. I don't mind the red. XOR isn't doing anything. Rotating. That's... I actually see if it does anything with the bit shifting. Left one looked pretty good. Again, I'm trying to go for like not extremely noisy. Let's do first one. Okay. Working our way down. Let's try some solarizing. I'm also trying to be careful because I think it's processing all this live, so the more that we add, the more it's going to have to go back through and redo. Data corruption, I have no idea what that does, but let's see. I think it's maybe messing with individual... Yeah, it's adjusting individual pixels. That's neat. Digital artifacts. I think that's a song by St. Vincent. Okay, I'll take it. We got... Oh, wait, nope, still thinking. I think we've accentuated the bit of graininess and blurriness for the background. Got some nice breaks and stuff. I think this would be... If anyone is looking for ways to make like those glitchy Tumblr anime GIFs, I think this would be a really good tool for that. See if we can bring back in a little bit of the original. Let's let it think. A little bit too much. No keying for you. And we're going to let it think. We're going to put everything back together. We're going to review, go back through everything we did tonight. Where are we? Rat King 10. We'll let it save. And in the meantime, let's figure out who we might want to raid. How are we? Are there that? All right, that's saved. What are we looking for? All right, so let's do a quick review of everything. We're going to go back into our... So we looked through all the pixel sorting stuff, just for a quick run through that. We got this. It's kind of in sequential order of stuff. There's a lot of neat ones in here. That one I like. This one I like. This one I think is also pretty cool. Going back into the Rat King stuff. I think, yeah, this was the first one we did. Kind of a mess, but it's okay. The next one we did, also a mess. The Joyous Clusterfuck. Working our way down. There wasn't as much that we did here. I think it's maybe because it's black and white, it doesn't have as much to work with. Gradually getting more messed up, but in ways that I think looks pretty good. This was the egg one. I think it actually helped, because that one's just yellow and red. Got the amoeba one here. This one I was surprised because it's not extremely fucked up and grainy, which I think is really neat. Some of these are more subtle. But yeah, so believe it or not, that's the stream. We're a little over, and thank y'all for sticking with me. So we did a lot of cool shit today. We made some art. We broke some things, and we have some things we can do more next time. Well, before I get too far ahead of myself, we're going to jump over into here. Again, thank you all for joining me tonight. And let's figure out who we're going to. I think, let's see, who do we know that is streaming? If anyone has any suggestions, I am all for it. All right, I'm going to check raid real quick. Out of who I'm following, who we want to raid. Let's see. You know, let's raid. Can we raid Scorpy? Then, hey, fuck it. All right, so we're gonna go raid Mr. Scorpy, Mr. Sockpens, Mr. Benry. He is doing a VHS viewing night with some friends, and let's fucking do it. All right, well, again, thank you all for joining me. I hope you all have a good rest of your evening, and I will see you all next week. Goodbye. Actually, let's go ahead and start. Oh, shit, we can't actually raid them. Sometimes you can't raid people. I don't know why that is. All right, let me pretend that didn't happen. Let's try somebody else. Out of people that we're following. Let's try... We did Skullvolver last time. Let's do Markatoto. Can we raid Markatoto? It looks like they're making their own Vocaloid. So hell yeah. All right, let's try that one more time. I'm going to pretend that didn't happen the first time. Yeah, sorry, I'm not Benry tonight. I'm sorry. All right, let's see if this one still works. Can we do it? All right, we're raiding. Thank you all so much. Have a good rest of your night, and I will see you all next week.